Hi. I'm Joan.
I'm Trish.
And we may have started a little late tonight because I forgot to hit the go live button because Rob usually does that. So we're glad that you're here. Trish is going to be joining me as the host today. I'm not at all sure why it says Trish and Joan because I had it written the other way. You're going to have to put up with our shenanigans because we may have a few problems trying to figure out what is what. So, Trish, from being in the audience, Trish Pipkins, she's my daughter, and I'm really happy to have her join me as a co host today. We have a really great author today. His name is J. Edwards Holt, and I'm just going to bring him up now. Hi, Jay.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm good.
I thought I had hit the go live. I didn't hit the go live. So I'm sorry, guys. You missed the intro and the countdown.
It's all right. We're good. We're live now.
In the first commercial. However, we're live now. You know we love your comments, so you're going to have to deal with a lot of silly stuff. For those of you that are joining us live, we are really happy to have you here, and please feel free to comment and ask Jay questions, make whatever comments you want, and also have mercy on us. Someone's taking me up on that. Hi, Chanel. We're so glad you're here. How are you feeling? Are you feeling good? Hi, Joe. Joe says, hi, Joan and Trish and Jay. So I don't know if you heard, but Rob is seriously having a medical emergency today. And Caleb Pirtle says, welcome to the show, Jay.
Thank you, Caleb.
Rob is, like I said, having a medical emergency. He had surgery on his head last week, and today we went in and they put in the staples on his head, and we found out that the cancer had not spread to his bone, which is really good. But however, he really is in no shape to come on right now. And Chanel said today is a good day. I'm glad to hear that, Chanel.
Good to know.
All right, Jay. That was a rather inauspicious beginning, I'm afraid. But why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure.
How did you get into writing?
I'll start off by introducing myself. I'm J. Edwards Holt. I'm a multi-genre author. I co-authored 4 Amazon best-selling testimonial devotional books known as the Call to Intercede anthology. My short story, Songbird Sparrow, has also been in the top 100 since its release a few months ago on Amazon.
That's impressive.
Yeah, thank you. I'm primarily a fantasy author. I've been in the business since 2017 when I published my first book, Little Men, Big Treasures. Honestly, I didn't expect to get much feedback because I had never published anything before. And I certainly didn't expect to get good feedback, which is what I got.
That's great.
Because of the response and the global success of the book, I decided to keep it going and do a sequel. When The Summoner's Gem, which is the sequel, came out, I was surprised to see that there were some who actually liked the sequel better than the first. It was sort of a division. There were
1 second. Right. I think Jay has some interference on his mic, is what Joe Conjal said. And that is true. Are you touching it or something? Because it sounds like you were touching.
Oh, yep. That's what it was. Is it better now?
Yep,
it's better
clear
now.
Okay,
let me put up a few of the comments. I can't. This is from Joshim Malik, and can you see what that is? Like a welcome sign?
I think it's a wave.
A wave? Okay. Hi, Joshim. And Joe Conjal said, sending prayers to Rob and all of you. Thank you, Joe. We really appreciate it. We need them. And Paul Hollis says, hi, Trish, Joan, and Jay Edwards.
Hi, Paul.
I think I was touching it with my notes. That's what it was.
I think you were too. And George Dismuke says, there you are, onward without good judgment or forethought. Not. Okay. So, George always keeps us
on our toes.
Oh, gosh. George says, George Dismukes is asking Jay, oh, you are so right, too. Anybody ever tell you look like a very young Bruce Dern?
I've never heard of him.
Oh my goodness. All right, George, we are officially really old.
I haven't heard of Bruce Dern either. Who is
Mamma mia.
What's he been in?
He's been, Google him.
Google him. Okay.
He's been in a lot. You look just like him. You need to Google him later on. And that's
I definitely will.
He's a famous actor. He's been in a lot of sci-fi and stuff too.
Really?
Yeah. George says, oh my God, we have a heathen on our hands. And Joe Conjal says, wow, we are old. We are, Joe. I mean, I'm not going to tell you how old Trish is, but she ain't young.
Love you, Mom.
I love you too. But I'm your mom and you're not even my oldest. So George says he killed John Wayne. That's terrible. He in a show, I'm assuming. Mm-hmm. Marjorie Deering says, oh no, I'm a little late and missed news about Rob. I hope he's all right. He will be. Thank you. And James L. Rickard says, my God, Bruce Dern killed John Wayne. I think in a movie, not in real life.
Right.
Okay. In the Cowboys. In the movie, The Cowboys, Bruce Dern killed John Wayne. Doesn't he look like him? You look just like him. You've got to Google him sometime.
He does look familiar, but I still don't. Wow.
Yikes.
That's okay. Somebody asked me who Brad Pitt was the other day, so.
Oh, wow.
See, you're getting old. I'm sorry. We cut you off in the middle of all your stuff. Let me bring up. Wait a minute. One more comment. Oh, he shot up. George Dismuke says he shot him in the back. What a coward. And Caleb Pearl says Bruce was one of the all-time great actors. I agree. He could make you laugh or make your skin crawl. That is true. He could be funny or he could be the creepy serial killer guy.
Cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's really good. He's an actor.
Well, I think it was fun to play either of those parts. So.
Yeah. Jay, you were talking about
let's start with Little Men, Big Treasures.
Okay.
Yeah, I think okay, so the first book, Little Men, Big Treasures, I didn't expect to get a lot of feedback, or especially good feedback. And because of the response to that book, I made a sequel, The Summoner's Gem. And when that came out, it was a success too. It was then that I came up with an idea for a third book, and it just kept going from there until now I have around 10 books on the market. My books include a prayer anthology, multiple fantasy epics, a children's book, and even a comic book.
That's awesome. Well, let's do the Little Men, Big Treasures series, okay? So this is the first in the series, correct? You want to give us a little synopsis of the book, but without giving away any spoilers.
Yeah, it's about a young dwarf who is a treasure hunter, and he and his brother and a friend go off in search of a long lost treasure, and end up finding themselves in some sticky situations, and some life-changing scenarios.
All right. And then
it's got a lot of action and heart and some humor in it.
Good. And then we have The Summoner's Gem.
This one, this takes place after a little bit of a time jump. The dwarf treasure hunter from the first book has gone missing, and his friend goes looking for him, and he comes across someone who's known as a wizard called the Summoner. And
so do you consider these science fiction, or do you consider them fantasy or fantasy science fiction?
They're fantasy.
Okay. And then the third in this series, and is this the final? And that's the end of the
That's
series?
the final in the Little Men series. Yes.
The Battle of Dannemore is
Uh-huh.
the title.
Yes, that's the final one. And that takes place years later with the grandson of one of the characters,
Okay.
living out the legacy, and it all ends up in a big battle at the end. Um,
The
but
way all true heroes' tales should.
yeah, for sure. But yeah, all three of those books, they can be read as standalone because they
Mhm.
all feature a different main character. But it's
Mhm.
better to read them in order. You'll get more out of it, I think.
Yeah, usually that's true, right?
Mhm.
Joe Conchel says, "Are these books for kids, or would old guys like me like them as well?"
I've had people of various ages enjoy them. Anywhere from a fifth grader to much older people. So I think you would definitely enjoy them.
Marjorie Daring just said, "Have to go. Just got a call from my daughter. She's all right, but she's just been involved in a car accident. She's okay, but her car's in bad shape. Apparently, got to go. We'll be praying for you."
Yeah.
Sorry to
Okay,
hear
so
that,
sorry,
Marjorie. That's always scary.
That's very scary. Wow, this is some night, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a crazy night.
It's a good thing we have an intercessor on the show. That's all I gotta say.
I was gonna say that I really like the covers of those books. I'm a sci-fi and fantasy fan, and a lot of times the covers draw me in, and those covers are really, really good.
Well,
Well,
thank you.
how about would you describe that one for us then, Trish, so that the people that are listening on the podcast will know?
You want me to describe it?
Yeah.
Well, it's got I guess you said the main character is a dwarf, but he's got really great armor. And then I like the colors because it's kind of like bronze and gold, and just it just looks very everything I like about fantasy. Not that I'm saying you're taking off from Lord of the Rings, but basically kind of like that medieval type
That's
look.
what it reminds me of, and yeah, I think that's a good thing to be similar to.
Well,
Right.
It's been a little successful.
I mean, that's usually what fantasy is. Fantasy is always that kind of like that medieval time period with, armor and battles and things like that. So, yeah.
Joe Conjal says, "I agree, Trish. The covers are super."
Thank you, Joe.
They really are. We'll go to the second one, the Summoner's Gem. And Jay, do you want to describe that?
Yeah, it's okay. So it's got some blue tones to it. It's got it says the Summoner's Gem in some medieval type writing, and on the front there's a black hooded figure holding a scythe, kind of like the Grim Reaper, and he's holding a book. And there's a castle in the background.
Yeah,
I like the castle.
I'm assuming he's the summoner. Am I
Yes.
right? Good assumption, good cover, because I should be able to tell. Roxanne Berkey said, "I love this scary evil."
Yeah, some of them are a little bit scary at times.
But that's okay.
Right.
Okay, Roxanne also said, "Interesting that gem is so large." The Summoner's Gem. Here, let's bring that back up.
Oh yeah, that was just the graphic designer chose to do it that way.
Chose to do gem large, maybe to give importance to the fact that there is a gem. And then the Battle of Dannemore. Do you want to describe that again too, Jay?
Yeah, you mean the cover?
The cover.
Yeah, so it says the Battle of Dannemore. It's in the medieval type writing, sort of a beige color. And on the cover, it's a dwarf soldier riding a rhino, carrying like a spear and stuff like that, because the dwarf soldiers in the book ride rhinos.
That's really interesting. I love that.
Have you ever been near a rhino, Jay?
No.
I have, and it's extremely intimidating.
Oh, I'm sure.
You can feel the power, so that would be quite a thing. I know there are, like mounted police because horses are intimidating to people, but a rhino is like that's like the extreme.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, you just sense that they have power. If they want to knock, a bus over, they can, no big deal. You just feel that. So that's really cool.
So Roxanne had noticed the light in the background, and she asked, "I like the light in the back. Does that represent hope?"
Oh yeah, it does. It's sort of in the castle that you can see it, and a lot of the battle takes place in the castle, and there's sort of a hope that comes in the castle, and a character that maintains hope throughout the battle.
Is there? Is in the castle.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool.
I think George said he's been close to a rhino.
George Dismukes? Oh yeah, he was an animal handler.
Yeah,
so I'm sure he's been.
Yeah,
I saw
an animal wrangler on movies. So he was in Hatari. So yeah. I think he's been close to a lot of rhinos. Now I'm waiting for George to say his third wife was a rhino. Teasing you, George. Okay. You want to tell us now about Barren World Curse of the Warlord's Chalice.
Yeah.
Tell us about the book. We'll describe the cover later.
The Barren World trilogy is a sequel to the Little Man Big trilogy. It features some of the same characters, and but it's a whole different story. The Curse of the Warlord's Chalice is about this chalice that the characters find, and it tempts them to drink from it. And when they drink from it, they get pretty much unlimited power, but it comes with a curse as well, sort of eternal damnation for them. And they struggle with trying not to drink from it while trying to find a way to destroy it.
Interesting. It's sort of like the theme that we often see in fantasy, where if you use magic, that you pay a price.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that kind of a thing. It reminds me of. So, okay, George first of all says he has been close to a rhino, and then he says, no, his third wife we're talking about, she was more dangerous than any rhino.
Wow.
And Chanel said, I have given a rhino a bath, and yes, they're very powerful. Yeah, not just the rhino is powerful, Chanel, you're kind of powerful, because I would never give a rhino a bath.
That's hard enough to give a dog a bath.
Yeah, I have a 9.5-pound dog, and when I give her a bath, it's like such a
I have a cat.
battle.
I would not give my cat a bath.
Yeah, you can't do that.
James Rickard said John Wayne was in Hatari, but Bruce Dern wasn't.
Okay.
Yes, we know that. George was also part of Hatari. George Dismukes. Okay. And I like that cover. Let me put that cover back up, and we'll just go ahead and discuss it now while we're here. Barren World. I'll describe this one. It has a picture of a chalice, and you see hands holding it, and then it looks like coming up out of the chalice is light, and then there's a bronzy background, and it has all little sparkly flecks in it. So is that light or power coming up out of the chalice that we're supposed to see there? Is that the
it's power more so than light.
Then there you go. Power not necessarily power of the light, but power is coming out of it. Got it. Yep. Chanel says, I worked a zoo one summer. I bathed lots of amazing animals.
Wow,
that's
cool.
Fun.
Yeah, that would be fun.
So where did you get the inspiration for these trilogies? Or did you pull from many places?
Many places. I've always loved Lord of the Rings, all the different fantasy books, everything.
C.S. Lewis.
Fantasy movies, C.S. Lewis, all those things.
Yeah. George says, no, Bruce Dern wasn't in Hatari, but Elsa Martinelli was, so was
Red Buttons. See, I know Red Buttons.
Hey. He's older than Bruce Dern. Jay's like, what kind of a show did I come on?
Oh, it's okay.
Sure, we'll say it's okay. Let's see. Roxanne Berkey says, how long has Mr. Holt been writing?
I have been writing since I was in probably the 3rd grade, I would say. I did a lot of writing in elementary school, maybe a little bit in middle and high school. Then in college, I kind of forgot about it for a while. But then after that, I started writing and came up with a story and decided to go ahead and write it down to publish it.
So pretty much your whole life. I mean, if you
Pretty
start
much.
writing when you're 8, that's a long time. You're just a writer. Let me ask you something I usually ask most of the authors, and I know what almost everybody says, but do your characters become very real to you and kind of take over the story sometime and lead you in a different direction than you thought you'd go or whatever?
Oh yeah, for sure. A lot of times, a book goes in a different way than I thought it would. The idea seems great at the time, but then I come up with something else that I like better. And it may sound weird to say, but I think I have good relationships with my characters.
It doesn't sound weird to say. They become very, very real. I mean, they're
right.
Your creation, and they are real to you. And when I'm writing, my characters often don't do what I want them to do. They're contrary. And James said, LOL, pockets. I'm not sure.
Red buttons?
Oh my gosh, James.
I have a question about where you get like your writing inspiration. Have you ever had a dream about like a story or characters? I had a dream the other night that was crazy, and it was very detailed. So I've written it down. I'm going to try to make it into a story. And that's it used to happen to me as a child. Like I'd get really good kind of dream stories, but has that ever happened to you?
It has. Yeah. One story that I have not written yet, I had a dream about that a long time ago. I can still see it in my head like it was a film or something. So
yeah,
I hope to write that one day. But yeah, definitely.
Oh,
I think
you
should.
I do too.
When I just wrote mine down, and that helped a lot, and a lot of it was coming back to me. And yeah, but it that's never happened to you.
No, I have to work really hard at all of my books. And I have to think about it. And then the characters get very stubborn and won't say what I want them to say.
I daydream a lot too, so a lot of it happens in daydream.
That makes sense.
Yeah, well, I can daydream stuff, but yeah, no, I've never had a story. I mean, we've had a lot of authors on the show, and a lot of them do have dreams, and it's just, that's the story. I mean, you have to fill it out. Like you're going to have to put in a lot of stuff besides just what was in your dream. But the basic idea comes to you in a dream, and all the characters and what happens and all that stuff. It's really good. It's a good time to ask you now too is, do you follow? Well, have you heard of a pantser? Are you a pantser? No.
No.
Okay. So do you plan your story out? Do you have an outline? Or do you just fly by the seat of your pants and see where it goes? But do you already know?
It varies. Usually I have an outline in my head and I'll write it down. And then sometimes I just wing it. It depends on how I'm feeling that day and everything.
Kind of a hybrid then.
Yeah, pretty much.
Of both of those things. We've got another comment here. Oh, this one. Sorry about that. There we go. Someone needed to be blocked.
Oh.
Usually Rob does that, but it was easier for me to do it this time. I had said to Trish, just do that for me and I'll be happy, but that's okay. All right. We did Barren World, right? Then did we go on to Den?
No, we haven't yet.
Okay, you want to read that title?
Den of Elliptis.
Barren World, Den of Elliptis?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now that has a dragon on the cover.
It does.
Yay!
I love dragons.
So do I.
Yeah.
We've been in a multiplayer dragon game for
Since 2009.
for a long time.
You basically collect dragons, and so we have like I have like 3,000 something.
I have 3,000 something.
Yeah, we have a lot of dragons. But anyways, so what is, could you give us like a little bit of that book?
Yeah, it's a sequel to Curse of the Warlord's Chalice, the sort of group that forms in the first book. Their second destination is to go to the Den of Elliptus. It's the den of a mighty dragon, an ancient dragon. And there's supposedly an axe hidden there that can break the Warlord's Chalice. And their goal is to find it and do that. But along the way, they have to face the temptation of drinking from it and have to try not to drink from it.
That's awesome. That's really good. George Dismuke says, where are you from, Jay?
I'm from North Carolina, not far from Raleigh.
And Robert White says hi, and we say,
hi,
Robert. Robert is from Australia.
Oh, okay.
He's from Queensland. He has a farm there. And he was right. He's also an author. We're glad you could join us. You might notice Rob is missing. He's got a little medical emergency, but he's going to be okay. Just to keep you posted, Robert. All right. So then the next one. Now, this is not part of the series, is it?
No.
Free. Yeah.
No, it's just
okay. So that was the Battle of Dannemore, Barren World, and Den of Elliptus. We're all part of that.
And I'm currently working on the third book.
So this is going to be a continuing series.
It's going to be a trilogy.
Oh, it will be a trilogy. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
3 Barren World books. Yeah, and 3 Little Men books. So.
Okay. And then we have Sparrow Songbird.
It's actually supposed to be Songbird Sparrow. But yeah, that's a short story. Just a short story I came up with one day, and it's for free on Amazon, anywhere you can buy ebooks. It's a free ebook.
Now, is it a short story geared towards children, or?
Again, it's multi-age. Children could read it though.
Okay.
And I think this is the last one here for you, the Storyteller's Diary. That looks like a children's book.
Yeah. Again, it's got stuff for children in it and adults. It's just a collection of short stories that I've written over the years. It's got, all kinds of creatures in it. Wizards, dragons, elves, dwarves, talking horses, anything you can think of pretty much. It's got everything from bedtime stories to high fantasy to more parable-like stories.
Awesome.
But most of the stories have a Christian meaning behind them in that book, and all the books really.
Yeah. But like C.S. Lewis, it's for everyone.
Right.
Yeah. Robert White said he thought that Rob went under dramatic change for a few minutes, and he hopes he gets better. Yeah, he does look very different, right? And Joe says, and after you answer Joe's comment, it's halfway through the show, believe it or not, and we need to take a little station break and run some commercials. Joe Conjal said, Jay, where do you see your writing career in the next 5 years? Still writing fantasy, or will you write in other genres down the road?
Okay, let me see my notes here. Okay, where is it? Okay, hold on just a second here. There we go.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So my biggest goal, I suppose, is to hopefully one day be, a household name when it comes to authors. I strive to have a long and hopefully prosperous writing career. But in the immediate future, I intend to keep on writing fantasy while taking every opportunity to get out into the community or get online and promote my work. I hope to meet more fans, make new friends, and to collaborate with other artists, authors, and designers, and form more great partnerships. But yeah, I definitely plan to keep on writing fantasy, maybe some more religious themed books as well.
That sounds great. Well, we're going to have to take a little break. Don't go away. We'll be right back. I'll get to the comments when we come back. We'll see you in a little bit.
Many secrets are hidden within the darkness of the jungle. Behold, this one about a man, a woman, a black jaguar, and an ancient Maya legend. Two Faces of the Jaguar is a novel by George Dismukes that will take you deep into the jungle and capture your imagination until the last word. Two Faces of the Jaguar is book one of a trilogy. Two Faces of the Jaguar, where only the adventurous dare to read.
Two Faces of the Jaguar, The Lost City, and The Jaguar's Quest are available on Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, and many other bookseller websites. Two Faces of the Jaguar, the book people are talking about. Get your copy today.
People who like to read want to get their hands on books by Becca Jones.
Becca Jones, the breakthrough author who tells it like it is. It takes courage to tell a story when it reveals dark secrets. Becca Jones delves deep into the hidden world of sexual abuse. She tells what happened and also tells how she survived.
Meant to Be is much more than just entertaining. Meant to Be gives you a point of reference, hope to cling to, and becomes a guide for survival if you have suffered the same thing. Meant to Be, Becca Jones, a must-have.
Meant to Be is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and many other bookseller websites.
Dear Lord, she's still alive.
Who's still alive?
Maris, that's who.
Come on, Angie, that's impossible.
Impossible or not, she's still alive, I tell you. She killed that boatload of people, and she's just getting started. There's no limit to what she will do.
It's not easy to kill a siren. It takes a formula and a plan. Siren Song 2 is the spellbinding sequel to Siren Song. Both novels by George Dismukes.
Siren Song 2 will be on bookshelves and bookseller websites in July. Don't miss it.
Welcome back, everybody. We have a few comments here. Let's bring them up if I can find them. Ooh, they're way down. Oh, we're almost there. Joe says, thank you. I appreciate your answer to where you see your writing career in the next 5 years. And Chanel is saying hello to Robert. And Chanel was saying Two Faces was amazing. Yeah, she read that and she liked it.
I loved it too.
I know. You fell in love with this jaguar.
Yeah.
Well, I would also like to get up some of your websites and stuff like that, Jay, so people will be able to know where to reach you. All right, so Jay's website is www.jedwardsholt.com. And for those that you are listening on the podcast, it's JEDWARDSHOLT. All right. Facebook, this is going to be so easy for you guys. Facebook is J. Edwards Holt. Twitter is @J. Edwards Holt. LinkedIn, LinkedIn. Just look up J. Edwards Holt. But in case you need to, it's J/Edwards
It's a hyphen.
/Holt /417 AB6146. Yeah, I know. I always say slash. And it isn't a slash though; it's a hyphen.
Yeah.
I usually say dash.
Yeah, it's a dash. Or some people even say minus. I'm like, okay, minus works.
I usually say dash. I don't know why I said slash. I'm out of it tonight. And email is j@jedwardsholt.com. So the email is important because we should give to the book giveaway right now. So the book giveaway, the first 3 people to email j@jedwardsholt.com will win an ebook copy of choice. So 3 people. So start typing right away so that you can win one of those fabulous books. Or is it any of your books that they can find on your website?
Ebook.
Any ebook
Yeah.
that they can find on your website.
Any ebook.
Any ebook on your site, not just the ones that we have banners for here tonight, the brand for, but
Right.
Right. Okay. All right, people. I'm so glad we got that done. This is very stressful without Rob here. I've just got to tell you, it's a little crazy, and I'm so sorry, Jay, that you have to deal with not Rob here, which is stressful for me.
You're stuck with me, guys. Sorry.
You're doing fine. I'm like all over the map. Dash instead of hyphen. I don't know what
it's
I'm talking
fine.
about. So I really liked this this cover for the Storyteller's Diary. And for those of you that can't see it, it's really fun. You can see on the cover the pages of a book are open. It's on a turquoise background. And you can see a rainbow and unicorns, and it looks like magic potions and scrolls and
a wizard's hat, I think.
A wizard's hat. And is that a lyre? Or a key? That's a key.
Key.
That's a key and a sword, right?
And
like a scroll.
There's a wand and a scroll.
Yeah, all the good stuff.
Yeah,
all the good stuff. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it reminds me kind of like what was that? The Real Guy, when he finally got to his island.
She's talking about Free Guy, the movie Free Guy.
Free Guy.
I just saw that last weekend, actually.
That's a good movie.
It is.
Yeah.
And he gets to his island, and you see a unicorn go flying by when he gets over there. That was a good movie, wasn't it?
It was. I enjoyed it.
It was like a really feel-good movie. Maybe one day one of your books will become a movie.
Yeah. You talked about, where you see yourself in 5 years. How about which one of your books would you want? Do you have like a preference for one that would be turned into a movie, or, like a trilogy turned into a movie?
I guess I'd love to see the Little Men trilogy become a movie or movies. That'd be great.
George Desmuke says you're doing just fine. Chill and put on your best hat with the pink feather. And Robert White said it was Ready Player One for kids.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, okay.
It was kind of like a Ready Player One for kids.
Yeah.
I just like the character. It's rare to find, like, it seems like it's very hard to find movies that have such a, somebody who's such a pure heart, and the character had such a pure, he was just good all around, and I like that.
I do too.
It's funny too. It was
really funny.
It was really funny, and the cameos were like amazing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I thought. I mean, there were so many, and I don't want to have any spoilers, but there were a lot of symbols in there that if you're a fan of Marvel Studios and Star Wars, you will be very happy to see them show up in the movie.
Right.
A lot of Easter eggs is what they're called.
Easter eggs.
Speaking of Easter eggs, do you have any Easter eggs in any of your books, like kind of a nod, like let's say to C.S. Lewis or Tolkien or anything like that? That's something that I've considered when I write, to do kind of like a little Easter egg, a nod to some
homage.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I've always been inspired by the world builders like C.S. Lewis and Stan Lee and Tolkien and them. So always all my books are really connected in a way. Even if they're not connected by a character, they might be connected by a setting or something. Like the name of a realm or a kingdom.
Yeah.
So they have Easter eggs to other books.
Right.
You might see something that happens and you might not get the reference if you haven't read the previous book or a book, or you might be reading a standalone book and say, hey, I recognize that place from that other series or something like that. So they do have Easter eggs in that way.
I love that. That just makes it really fun for, somebody like me. When I read something that I like, I have to read like the whole thing. Like when I started on the Dragon Riders of Pern series.
Oh yeah.
I was going to the library trying to check it out, and it was like I got so impatient I would just go to the bookstore and buy like the next one if it wasn't available in the library, because it was like I want to read the next one,
and there were a lot of those.
Yeah, so
it was great.
So that type of thing, I just love. Those connections or nods back to something 3 books ago. That's always
exactly. It's definitely all connected, and it has nods to each other. The different series might be connected even.
I think readers love that.
I do. I know personally I do. So
I do too. And George says, it can be a movie, Jay. All you have to do is sell your soul and your chihuahua. And he knows
chihuahua. So.
But you do have 2 dogs, so
yeah.
Because George right now is making a movie from one of his books. Joe Conjal says, how long does it take you from start to finish when writing a book? I know some people will publish monthly while others take longer between releases. Joe, you know people that publish monthly? Ooh.
It usually takes me about a year at least to complete one of these.
A year to okay. A year to complete one book?
Yeah.
Wow. That's a long time. Do you do a lot of research and stuff, or?
Yeah, and I just take the time to make sure I get the word count and everything I want to happen and all that.
I understand. Paul Hollis said, I thought you all were talking about real Easter eggs. I was trying to select the tie-dye colors. Joe said, well, the monthly ones are usually shorter titles.
Yeah, true.
That would have to be, right?
I'm just thinking of George R.R. Martin, who takes like 5 years sometimes. I think he's still working on a book that we've been waiting for like 6-7 years.
In Game of Thrones, that author.
That's who I'm talking about. That's George R.R. Martin. Yeah,
he takes 7 years, I think.
I mean, he can. Yeah. So
yeah, he takes a long time.
I get it, because I've tried to write, and it's. So I would say for me, it's been taking me like 20 years.
Not exactly true. You've written for fanzines and stuff like that, and different other things, but not a novel.
No, I haven't written a novel yet.
But you will be.
Now, Jay, you had mentioned before that you've written a comic book. Is it it's published or?
It is, yeah. It's on blurb.com. It's not on Amazon like the rest of them. It's called The Beast of Tiragalda. It's about this character that's a god, sort of. He's like the god of hunting, and he comes down to Earth to hunt this beast, and there's a battle and different twists in it and everything. It's more rated teen, but it's very good. I was very pleased with how the artistry turned out and everything.
So, did you do the art, or who did the art for it?
No, I found an artist to do the art. Someone did the art for me.
Wow.
I commissioned an artist.
This is really funny, because Joe Conjal just asked, did you write and draw the art? And
I wrote the story,
Yeah.
and I sent a description to the artist of what I wanted each panel to look like.
Okay. And Joe Conjal said, Trish, that just means it'll be the book we need, not the book we want. Batman reference. Yeah. The 7 years and 5 years, 7 years, however long. So that, and did you like the way the artist did your concepts? Did you feel like he nailed
Yeah,
it?
it was really cool to see it, come to life in that way. It was, the closest thing I've ever seen to a film, with it, because each panel. But it's really cool to see your concepts come to life on the paper like that. It's amazing.
Yeah. I was wondering too, since we're talking about that, in the book, The Storyteller's Diary, are there any pictures in that book,
No,
or is it no? Okay,
no.
because some of those pictures would be really cool, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Joe wants to know, would you do another comic book?
I don't know. It was definitely, it was a lot of work on my part between coming up with each panel, and then once the panels were drawn, I did the lettering and everything. And so
Wow.
I'm not sure. Maybe if I come up with another idea, but not for a while.
Yeah, that must have taken a long time, though.
Yeah, it was tedious, to say the least.
Yeah, I would think it would be.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you enjoy writing the most? Novels, short stories?
Oh, novels,
Yeah.
novels and short stories. I like both of those.
Yeah. Is that one of your dogs banging in the background there?
Yeah.
I told you dogs are okay.
Yeah. I think she's ready to come in.
I think she's knocking at your door like, let me in.
Hold on one second while I let her in. Maybe she'll see.
Okay.
Gotta love animals.
I know. I just didn't want anyone to think that there was somebody trying to break into his house while we're having the interview. Here she comes.
All right. Okay. All right. She's in.
That's really funny.
Mm-hmm.
That's dogs for you, boy. If they want in, they want in.
Yeah, for sure.
She's like, don't. Yeah.
See her in just a second.
There she is. That's okay.
All right.
What's her name?
Sally.
Aww. Hi, Sally. She's a pretty dog. Is she a pointer?
I'm not sure what she is. I got her at the shelter a couple of years back.
Best place to get a dog.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know exactly what she is. She looks like a few different kind of dogs. So.
That's really sweet. She loves you. That's a good thing. Okay, so what is your next project then?
Right now I'm working on a couple of different things. I'm working on the third book in the Barren World trilogy, and I've been working a little bit on a fantasy novella that I may release in the next couple months. It just depends on how it turns out. And then I've been sort of working on a book of poems as well.
Oh, would this be your first time into poems, trying your hand at writing poems?
Uh-huh.
Or have you written them before?
I mean, I've written some. I've never published any.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've ever written any poems except in school when I had to write poems.
Yeah.
But I've never, wanted to sit down and write them. But I mean, I know a lot of people do. It's something I admire. I don't know.
It's hard for me, poems.
Poems are hard for me too.
Yeah.
Do you just do like freestyle?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, if I wrote poems, I would want to write poems like Edgar Allan Poe wrote poems.
Yeah.
He wrote Great poems.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
nobody worries about rhyming anything anymore. Poems don't have to rhyme. They just have to express feelings, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of mine rhyme, but they don't have to.
Mine would be like Shel Silverstein, like short little poems that are ridiculous. One of my favorite poems is by Shel Silverstein.
Can you recite it?
It's basically it's called a snowball, and it's something about how a kid made a little snowball and took it home, and he made it a little bed, and he said, and he got up in the morning and the snowball ran away, but first it wet the bed.
That is ridiculous.
Makes a point, though.
Yep. Those are my kind of poetry. So that's my kind. I'm, really, really top notch stuff.
That is what would happen to a snowball if you made it a little bed. So
Exactly.
of all your books, what I would like to know is which one was your favorite to write?
Let's see. Well, I really enjoyed writing the short stories. I really enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun because it was something new for me. I had written 3 novels, and so it was fun to kind of switch around and do short stories a little bit. That was fun. So that was probably the most fun because it was the most variety of ideas.
And of all of your books, which is your favorite book that you have the strongest attachment to?
I know Little Men, Big Treasures has a lot because it's the first one. But I really love the story of the Barren World series.
Okay. The first one, the one about, let me bring that up.
Little Man, Big Treasures, that was the first book I ever wrote.
Little Man, Big Treasures.
Yes. Little Man, Big Treasures is the first one you ever wrote, but you said you really liked the first book in the Barren World, which would be The Curse of the Warlords.
Right? Barren World trilogy.
And yeah, they all sound really interesting and something that I would like to read.
Definitely.
Yeah, because I love that kind of fantasy. And you have dragons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Both of them have the Den of Ellipsis has a dragon, and the Storyteller's Diary has dragons in it as well.
Excellent. Storyteller's Diary, are the dragons friendly or ferocious?
Both.
Oh, good. Good. I like to have some friendly dragons. Since we spend a lot of time catching dragons and raising them from eggs. Not real ones. I do understand that. But still.
We get attached to our dragons.
I do. I am very attached to my dragons. I love
What game is this?
It's called Dragon Cave. It's a free game. It's
multiplayer.
Yeah, basically you get a scroll and then it's very old school. Like they're just
hunt
like
dragons.
Yeah. It's not like anything moves around. It's just you catch an egg and then
you have to take care of it.
Yeah.
You have to raise it. It's a hatchling and then it's grown up and then you breed them. And when you breed, you have different lines of breeding and it's a whole big thing.
Is that for the computer or is that like for your
Yep, it's on the computer. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So. It certainly is. And we must like it because we've been doing it since 2009.
Yeah.
And at different seasons you have different games that you play within the game. So
yeah,
like story games and
they just released like Valentine's dragons. So those are like special dragons released on Valentine's Day, that kind of thing. So.
Halloween dragons, Christmas dragons, all those kind of, they need Joe Conchel says he had a pet rock once. This is very different than a pet rock. Joe.
This is even nerdier than a pet rock.
Yeah. Though I did have a pet rock. Yes, we are old, Joe. Can you imagine we used to buy rocks in a box that were pets? That's a real thing. We really did it back in the day.
Well, I had sea monkeys.
Yeah, your daughter had sea monkeys too, and they ended up all over my living room floor.
Yeah.
Many sea monkeys.
So, I think you had mentioned you like science fiction. What are some of your favorite series or movies?
Oh yeah, I've always been a huge Star Wars fan. I love Star Wars.
Me too.
I like some Star Trek too. I've seen the movies.
Mm-hmm.
I recently saw Dune. That was really good. I like that.
Oh, okay.
Well,
I have not seen
yeah.
Dune yet.
It's kind of dark, right?
Yeah,
Dune?
sort of. Yeah, it's pretty good. I liked it. It was. Yeah, it's kind of dark. Yeah. A little bit like Star Wars. Kind of.
I read the books, so I remember what the books were like. They were a little bit dark for me. George Dismuke says, any really demented dragons in that game named Deborah? I can name one of my really demented, ferocious dragons, Deborah, for you if you want. No problem.
I made you some zombie dragons, so you should name one of
Oh,
the
I'll
zombie.
name one of my zombies, Deborah, if you'd like. They're really ugly.
So would you have you written any sci-fi, or would you?
When I was in high school, I did a lot of Star Wars fan fiction.
Oh yeah.
I've never really tried any actual sci-fi of my own though. But yeah, I would have. I'm more into fantasy right now, but maybe one day I may dip my toes in the science fiction writing.
It seems like that'd be an easy transition for you since you're already doing fantasy, and so you have to create different realms. And it'd be the same thing as creating different planets and different universes and stuff. So, yeah, Chanel, I don't know if you heard, Chanel asked, do you dabble in poetry, Jay?
I do, yes. I'm currently working on what will hopefully become a book of poetry.
Yeah, so he wants to do that. And George wants me to, Joe says, I was always a fan of Stargate. Yes, Joe. Stargate.
I've never actually seen it, I don't think.
You've never seen Stargate?
You have to watch it.
I just finally got my husband to start watching Stargate. So we're in the first season, and he's just overwhelmed because we have Stargate SG-1, the whole series, and Stargate Atlantis. And yeah, I'm a huge Stargate fan. I used to help David Hewlett, who's one of the actors, run his website. I've been to conventions. I've run a panel about it. Just I know the producers, the writers. Stargate is my
yeah, you're really good friends with some of the producers and writers, Joe. Yeah. And Joe Conjal says, I was always a fan of Stargate. We're huge fans of Stargate. We just love it. And Brittany says, big fan, Josh. Brittany Kemp.
Oh, okay.
You know Brittany?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. I thought so. And Joe Conjal said, good stuff. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, you've met Jason Momoa.
Oh yeah, I've met
all of them.
Yeah, Jason Momoa before he was Aquaman. So
a long time
I've
ago.
met him a few times, and
before he was married and divorced, actually.
He was in Dune as well.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. He's been in a lot of things.
He was in Dune, right? He was good in that, right? I heard he did a good job. Yeah.
Both.
Yeah. I know. He looks so big on screen, but Trish said
well, he's super tall,
but he's not
but
big.
Yeah, he like hugged me, and I was like, he's very tiny.
Because she has a brother who's tall like that, but he's not very tiny.
Yeah, if I hug my brother, it's like hugging a tree. But when I hugged Jason Momoa, it was like hugging a pole. It sounds so weird, but yeah.
Our son is very muscular, very big. Joe Conchal says, I guess now we all know what the J stands for, LOL.
Secret's out. You got me.
Joshua. I assumed this was a fan of yours. Hello, Brittany. We're glad you're watching the show. That's really good. How do you get a book published so quickly, Jay? How did you do that?
Which one? Just any of them, or
Any of them? I think he's talking about. Yeah.
I do my publishing through Amazon. Once I get them ready and I have them professionally edited and everything, I submit them to the self-publishing platform.
Brittany says hello. Yeah. So you're indie published.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. We like to say indie published instead of self-published because there's nothing wrong with being indie published or having an independent movie or anything like that. They're just as excellent as everything else.
Sometimes better.
Sometimes a lot
Absolutely.
better. Yeah.
For sure. A lot more people are going that way now.
Yeah.
Yep. George says, okay, so you self-published. That's right.
Sure do. I like it that way.
George has a publisher. One of the lucky few. He has a good publisher.
I'm not opposed to having a publisher at all, but for right now, that's what I've done is self-published.
Well, I just took a look at the time and we've gone over time, believe it or not. Didn't that hour go by quickly?
It did, for sure.
I thought so. Okay, we're just going to bring you over to this side here. And we're going to talk a little bit about what we've got coming up. Let me see. Next week, see, all of you know Rob does this all the time. So I'm like, what do we have coming up? Pamela Canepa is on next week. She has books about time travel. I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun. And this Saturday, Suzanne Least and Alan Zecker are on the episode rerun. Remember, that's on Saturday mornings, and it is a rerun, so we won't be live making comments, but we do try to answer your comments while you're on the show. And let me find where my Joe Conjal said, love the show. Thank you all. Thank you, Joe. We loved it too. Paul Hollis said, another awesome show. Thanks, Joan, Trish, and Jay. Oh,
Thank you, Paul.
Now. Yeah, thanks for tuning in, Paul. It was really great. Oh, okay. Also, we have coming up, I know I'm stressing out to the max. April 6th, we have the Magnolia Bluff Crime Chronicles, and that'll be really fun. We're going to meet 3 of the authors. There are 9 authors altogether in those chronicles, and the books will be coming out one at a time, 1 month at a time, and there will be 9 authors in all. So we're going to have the first 3 on April 6th, and March 23rd is going to be really, really a fun show because that's the Meet the Author, the Voice of Indie events. So the podcast host from the Voice of Indie is going to be on Meet the Author for an hour.
Oh, fun.
And then immediately following is when he has his podcast. And so then we're going to hop over and we're going to be on his podcast, the Voice of Indie events. So hopefully you'll tune in for both and get to see some different things than you normally see.
And that's the 23rd.
Yes. Do you have anything else you'd like to add?
No, I just really appreciate you coming on, Josh. This was
Thank
fun.
You, Josh.
Thanks for putting up with our shenanigans.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I enjoyed it.
I'm sorry. It was so crazy. Oh, Chanel said she will miss the April shows because she gets her stem cell transplants that month. I certainly hope you found someone to watch your son, Chanel. We've been praying about that, and we'll be praying about that, your stem cells transplant. I hope it goes beautifully. And until next time,
that's all, folks.
This award-winning thriller has it all. Murder, political intrigue, mob revenge, and a bit of romance. Not to mention strong female and male characters with a storyline that could be tomorrow's headline news. Now for a quick peek into our story. To help solving a nationwide plot involving the assassination of several U.S. senators, the O'Rourke team is called in. To complicate matters, they now have to work against the clock to rescue one of their own. You see, the mob didn't take too kindly to the O'Rourke team's involvement last spring. It seems to have led to the indictment of their boss. Will they succeed? Thank you for joining us here on Meet the Author. Make sure you stay up to date with our show by clicking like, follow, and share. And you can find us on Spotify, iTunes, and more. See you next time on WLFE-DV.com.